Welcome to the Fall Damage Central podcast this week of September 29th, Friday. I'm the mighty Bildo, your one of two hosts as always. This week got a special guest here. I know you guys are looking like, who is that? We've never seen Old School Legends face. Is that him? Is that ruggedly handsome man sitting there? No, you'd be wrong. This is my buddy Ryno Slater. What's up, Ryno?
Hey man, glad to be a part of this. And yeah, sorry I couldn't fill in the shoes of the old legend there.
No, you're good. Yeah, right. Old School had some prior engagements here, so at the last minute, Ryno agreed to jump on and try to fill the shoes, even though it's going to be a hard task. But we're up for the challenge.
Yeah, I'm ready. See what we can get into and maybe rival the legend, right?
Oh, I know. I've been on you for quite some time now to let's do our own podcast. But man, you're
That is
so
so
busy
true.
with work and it
Oh
hasn't
man,
really come to fruition yet. But one of these days, we're doing it, and we're gonna like skyrocket to the top of the charts.
I'll
Like,
take those days of nothing now if we could, and switch some of that workload.
yeah, this podcast already has like 16.8 million listeners every week, so our podcast will be pretty hard to top that, but we're gonna try. I'm just kidding. We don't have 16.8 million viewers and listeners every week.
Yeah, we might be Mr. Beast or some of them. Mr. Beast is just a legend in his own right at this point.
Yeah, he's like he's got to be over like 1 billion subs by now. You think?
Dude, yeah, Mr. Beast is a very, very interesting character.
Yeah, so Mr. Beast is up to 187 million subscribers. That dude, like,
Yeah, that,
did you watch his Joe Rogan interview? I think you did. I think you told me
Yeah, I've
about it.
watched quite a bit of it, and that's why I started learning about how he really got into it. He's not just making content for fun or BS. I mean, he's literally making content that's specified for viewers to enjoy, like, and just be spectacles of what's on YouTube. I mean, it's some of the grandest content that you could see. I mean, one of his most recent ones that I watched was something about millions of cars from like the cheapest to the most expensive. And it's like the man himself has built up his brand to a point where he actually sat in some of the most elite cars on the planet.
Yeah, yeah.
It's incredible. Uh,
A, it says $1 car versus $100 million car
yeah,
on his latest video. I haven't watched it though. That's pretty
I
impressive.
did one, and legit. I mean, he's sitting in like one-off Ferrari, I think, at the end or near the end. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think he can drive it, but he sat in it, and like just to be going through college and him just like doing these random YouTube videos, like 1, 2, 3, counting forever, and then at this point in his life, he just look back and say, you know, I'm somehow a YouTuber who's able to get access to like one of one Ferrari and then sit in it and then ride in it at the same time. Like who knew? Like that's presidential elite status quo there. But
Yeah.
off of a YouTube channel, the man can realistically just do whatever he wants.
Yeah, what's crazy is like this day and age, like if he were to run for president, he would probably win because he's got a big such a big following, you know? Like
If kids under 18 could vote, oh, he'd win in a heartbeat.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. But man, yeah, I don't know if I would really want to be as big as him to where you can't go out without being recognized and stuff. Like I kind of like keeping some level of anonymity, like where people don't really know who you are.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you watch
that's true.
Spawn Wave on YouTube?
I have, but not in a while. But yes, I know who you're talking about.
I feel like I would like being at his level. Like he's got enough followers and everything to kind of, make YouTube a living and stuff. But he can still go to the grocery store and shop and, the chances are probably slim that he's going to get recognized and all that.
Yeah, I mean, if he's in a game store, it's probably like, oh, dude,
Yeah.
who's that guy, right? And but like he's in Food Line getting some steaks for dinner or something. It's like some old lady next to him, hey,
Yeah,
and
nobody's
then he
paying
just goes about
attention.
his life, right? Yeah, it's perfect, and I agree. I mean, when it you get so famous, it ruins your everyday life. You know, what is that brings up a question of what is life at that point? You know, you're locked in a secluded. I think Mr. Beast is got his own neighborhood basically where he lives for security purposes, right?
His own
And a lot of
compound,
these,
yeah.
yeah, famous people are in Hollywood and like this gated mansion community and stuff like that. It's like, well, what kind of life is that? And I'm just sitting here like, man, I got to pay off my debt. I gotta, you know, make a paycheck this week so I can eat. You know, it's like I don't care if anybody knows who I am. Like, hi, I've got to work. You know,
Yeah.
but at that point, it's just like, what do you do? I mean, you can do anything, and that's another problem. When you have it all, what do you have? You know, do you have anything? I mean, like,
Dude, I like the way your mind works. Like, this is why we need a pod together, dude. This is what I'm talking about. But yeah,
I
no, I 100% get it. Like, all these Hollywood elite people that can't do anything out in public because they'll just get flocked. Like, you saw, I don't think you watch football, right? Um,
I do
but
not watch sports.
did you see Taylor Swift was at a football game last weekend?
No, but
With quote unquote, like supporting her quote unquote boyfriend, Travis Kelsey, plays
yeah,
for the
she has a
Kansas
new
City
boyfriend. I've
Chiefs.
been seeing kind of news float around about that, just here and there. I
Yeah,
don't know anything about him. Is he a football player?
he's a tight end. Yeah, he's a football player for the Kansas City Chiefs. And this past weekend was the first game she went to for him, and the media was all freaking over it. Like uh, they were saying they had her up in the box in the suite with his mom, and then there was security lined up all outside, like not letting
Well,
anybody in or whatever.
they're on mom basis already.
Yeah, I guess.
It's like, hey,
I don't.
meet my mom. I was like, all right.
Yeah, I guess. Um, but that kind of that level of fame right there, I don't think I would want. It's I want it. I want just enough to where it'll pay my bills and I could live comfortable. But I don't want that $1 billion mansion with 86 billion fans worldwide. You know what I mean? It's not really for
Yeah,
me.
Taylor Swift. Now you bring it up is a really good kind of contrast to like Mr. Beast because she is in like the music industry, and a lot of people, you know, come up, but it's even harder nowadays than it was back in the day because you were pretty much with your agents, and they kind of kept building you. But now it's like everybody's on the internet. Anybody can be a singer. You're American Idol. You can instantly become
Yeah,
famous. Like the instantaneous is ridiculous. And I think the weird thing about now is you can ride the high and just come down just as quick. Whereas back in the day, you kind of had to fade up and then fade down a lot easier as far as like
yeah.
attention and uh, famous, famousness, I guess. But Taylor Swift is just like a little country girl. I think she went to American Idol or something, and then she exploded into something that I don't understand personally. But she's one of the biggest music stars in the world, I'd say. Like it's
Yeah,
ridiculous how famous and she is because she's just a country singer, but I guess now she's a pop singer. I think she started as country. Uh, and maybe pop. I don't know what category, but
yeah.
the fame is unreal. I mean, she's up
I
there with
don't.
like people who, if you can meet Taylor Swift, like Mr. Beast might be like shocked to meet Taylor Swift. Like, oh my god, I'm shell
Yeah,
shocked, you
right,
know, but I'm
right.
famous.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I don't remember a time before. I don't really remember a time before Taylor Swift. I remember like one day she wasn't a thing, and then the next day she's like the biggest thing in the world. Like, I don't remember
That's
exactly
true.
where she
Yeah.
came from. I don't. I can't remember. I don't think she was on American Idol or whatever time. I think she just came out with one good song, and that just sparked a revolution, I guess.
Did Taylor Swift become famous? Huh. Okay. I'd have to look it up see if she was actually on the thing. But realistically, when we go from Taylor Swift to someone that you per se you want to be, it's like you kind of want to be like Sia, where you can come out and Sia is the singer with all the hair in the face, the black and white. Uh,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was completely lost. I didn't know who that was.
yeah, but she always constantly hit her face and had anonymity, or I think that might be the word I was looking for earlier.
Yeah.
No, anonymity, anonymity. I don't know.
Uh, and Anonymity.
Anonymity. I
Big
don't
words, man.
know. Too big. Uh, but like she performed like that forever, and I never knew who she was. And Marshmallow is another perfect
Yeah.
thing. Dream, who's huge. I mean, all these people who are able to build a following of just people who enjoy the content they make, not exactly who they are. Like that's where it's at. I mean, I think that's the best way to be because then you can still have your normal everyday life, but still like come back into like this big fame and all the money. You know that helps.
Do you remember the band The Gorillas back in the day? And I think they're still a thing.
Well, if they are a thing, I don't know it, but yes, I do know of the Gorillas. I think they're famous for one song. I don't not good with
Yeah, one or
remembering.
two. One or two.
Uh,
But they were completely
so
animated. All their videos were animated. If you went to one of their
yes.
concerts, I think they had the animations playing on a screen. Um,
Oh, I didn't know that. They didn't play
I
like
I
live in front.
I don't. I never went to a show, so I don't. I couldn't tell you for sure. But I think it was. I think it was a screen. Like right now, I think they
Hmm.
perform live. But back in the day, I think it was just animations up on a screen. But I'm not 100% sure on that.
I'm seeing some pictures on the web of like them and then the big screen behind them, which is to me it's awesome. I love that sort of art. It's I guess animation or anime, but they really brought characters to life and that's just cool.
Yeah.
Uh, it's the same way I guess Slipknot does, except they do it a little bit more personal with masks and dress up, uh, which again hides their anonymity.
It creates
Anonymity.
anonymity.
Yeah,
Anonym.
that thing.
We could create a podcast just trying to figure out big words.
Oh man, we'd be here all night.
Um, um. Oh, another fun fact about you: you are complete and total fangirl for the boy Elon Musk.
Oh yeah, I actually have a Tesla somewhere around here. Oh, in arm's reach.
There
Tesla
you go.
Model X.
Model X or
Yep,
S?
it's the X because it has the Falcon wing doors.
Oh, I didn't even know the those Teslas actually open like that in the back.
Oh yeah, it's
That's
it's pretty sweet. I mean, they're really expensive, which is why I
uh,
have like a little model version. Uh,
that's the only one
and
you can
I'm
afford.
yeah, my wife got me that for one of my presents. I don't know, might have been my
That's
birthday,
sick.
I think. But yeah, I think Elon's doing a lot of big things, and it's weird because he's not doing one thing. It's not like he's doing Tesla. He's doing all sorts of companies, and
Yeah,
space. I mean, they're all grand. They're not like small things. I mean, the boring tunnel company where he's boring through the ground with a big machine trying to create tunnels underneath LA.
yeah,
Uh, then you've got SpaceX, which has rockets somehow going into space and then landing back on their tail, ass, whatever you want to call it.
yeah.
Uh, and then you got Tesla, which is I guess we're really starting up really a lot of fame from that, which are really fantastic cars. And for some reason, he tries not to get into lidar. I forget what system they're using because it's been a while since I looked into it. But
Or
he
for
went
the
against he
autopilot.
yeah he's going against
Okay.
the grain because everybody said lidar, lidar, lidar. Um, and then you have Neuralink, which is another mind-boggling situation, but I find pretty fascinating as well. Like the
I
man
saw
does it all.
somewhere they're getting ready to put the Neuralink inside a human for the first time, probably by the end of the year. I think they said.
I'm excited to see where that goes because
I
I
thought
don't
you would be the first person in line to get one.
I would have said that a year ago. Nowadays, I'm a little more skeptical, whatever, of putting something in my brain. Realistically, I only want the Neuralink if I was going to get it. It's to record memories and basically just be a live video feed of my life that I could easily go back and say, well, I want to remember that first time that my little girl said, "Daddy." I want to
Ah,
remember
yeah.
that all that time before my father passed. I want to go back and relive some of that and just spend some of that time that because some of these memories fade and not even just the good ones, even some of the bad ones where it's like, oh, I really fucked up. I need to really sit back and have some therapy and see what I did wrong, see where I
Uh
went, what did I say, you know. Mostly good stuff though, you know.
huh. Yeah.
Uh, and then why not just be a dictionary at that point? Like if you can have all your memories and stuff and it's connected to the internet, there's no Googling. It's just your
You
internal
know it.
monologue thoughts. Just quickly say, what is this? And then there's like the Neuralink just somehow forms that word in your brain, I guess.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be stumbling across the words that I try to say.
Yeah. Right. You'd be able to say skeptical.
Yeah. But
Now, what
Neuralink would be
if
like, what is that word? And then my it would just take over my brain. Skeptical. Hey guys.
what if it was just like Neuralink was just like a uh evil plan by Elon Musk to where like he'll have one too, or he puts on a headset or something. That at any point in time he can like flip the switch and turn you off and take over your body. Like if you're about to get lucky with the wife one night or something, and he's like, "Oh, that looks like fun," hits the little button, and now Elon's
Oh.
in control, and
Okay.
Elon's
He's
taking
seeing
care
what
of
I
business.
see. He's smelling what I smell. He's feeling what I feel. He's basically taking over my
Yeah.
body, and all the senses are going back to. Look, that's wild. And
What would you
holy,
would you be like? Would you be mad?
well,
Like
I mean, uh,
like you wouldn't be able to experience it anymore. Like
if I
every
was on a
time you're
one
about
night
to,
stand, nah, I probably would be like, aha, Elon, you dog. But
ah,
like
you got me.
my wife would be like, Elon, bro, we gonna have to fight about this one. Uh,
Get this out of my head.
I'd be rubbing my head against a magnet. Baby, I gotta stay about 3 millimeters away from this magnet so Elon doesn't get in.
Your
Don't bounce
wife's
so
just
far.
laying there. No, no. Your wife's just sitting there. No, let him come back. Like I like Elon.
So you just give
Oh,
up as a male and just be like, whatever, just take over, man.
yeah,
And then
do your
it's like,
thing.
well, well, you want to take over my wife? Well, now you got to do my work. Well, I'm not going to do anything. Well, you just
Would that
sit there and do nothing. But
would
that
that
would
be
be
a
wild because that would bring up a different conversation. Is if he had the ability to do that, I would appreciate it. I think that's crossing the lines. Um, it would be pretty fucking magical. Um, but if he has the ability to basically take over my body and I'm the doppelganger, what's to say we just don't have bots that we do that too? And now instead of him transposing me, you're going to work in a coal mine. You come into an office, you sit down with 100 other people. I don't know why we're working in coal mines, but basically you sit down, you put on your headset or whatever you want, and you just connect to that robot and then control it and go to work in the mine. So there's no human safety hazard. Lunch break, robots just
ooh?
kind of stiffen up. You take off your headgear if you have any, and move on. But then if you take that a little further, because we're talking about robots, sex dolls are a thing.
Oh yeah.
And I can't say they're anatomically correct because I haven't experienced one. But I've seen like the fleshlights and all these little gadgets and gizmos, and I've seen like the fake boobs and the silhouette of a body. Speaking for female, because I'm a male, I don't really look at male sex dolls, but I guess they do have them. And uh, but now that robot is turned into what appears to be more or less a human, and at this day and age, let's say we would probably tell just by looking at it, like, it's kind of fake, right? You look at a sex doll,
Uh-huh.
it looks kind of human-like, but you can tell. But eventually, you can't tell.
Yeah. At some point, there's gonna be they're gonna be indistinguishable from actual people. It's gonna
Yeah,
be
and then
crazy.
taking that even further, Upload was a show on Amazon a while back,
My
where
wife watched
you
that. She's been trying to
did
get me
she?
to watch it. Yeah.
I watched the first season and it was very interesting, very good concept. I enjoyed it. I didn't watch the other seasons yet, but basically you just upload your brain. You're about to die, and if you're lucky enough, they'll cut off your head, take your brain, and you're now uploaded into a computer, and you get to live enough whatever someone can pay for you to live. You live your wage, which is weird.
Uh-huh.
But why don't we just upload ourselves into computers, and now we're completely bionic and no one dies and lives and we're a space. faring civilization, what are we even then at that point? I mean, how do you argue being a robot and having a conscience? Like, I still have my soul. Well, you don't have your physical body, so do you still have the soul, or is this just the brain
Yeah.
functioning? You know, you don't have your heart. It's like, go with your gut. Well, I don't have a gut.
Yeah.
You know, do you
Yeah.
still keep those instincts? Are they all hardwired in your brain? Like,
Dude, those are the questions that are going to be answered in the next like 200 years, 300 years.
uh,
Unless the human race kills itself off. I don't know, which is
who's
looking more and more
the
likely.
who's the smart black scientist? Is it
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yes. So he was on Rogan, and he talked about like his plan for 2050. And basically by 2050, his estimates, and yeah, I kind of listen to some of the smarter, higher educated people than me, but I take it with a grain of salt. But basically, he said we'd pretty good by then. Everybody would have a cure. You'd have auto transportation. You wouldn't even need to drive. Uh, if you needed something, you could regrow a limb. Like life will be completely different than it is just 25 years from now, I guess. Like,
Yeah, and to go along with that, it'll be interesting to see how money works in the future, how jobs work in the future, because I would imagine if robots exist and they're fully functional and AI is a thing, like these big businesses aren't going to need actual people to do the work for them. They're going to get
okay,
computers and robots to do it. Like I'm already seeing, like we work in the construction industry, right? And I know for a fact that at some point in the future, I don't know if it'll be in our lifetimes or what, but there is going to be a time where they'll just pull up like an AI piloted truck or whatever will pull up to a job site and just automatically start building a building, like 3D printing or something
the
to that
3D
effect.
the 3D printing is cool, and I'm not really sure where it's going to go because I think you have to start 3D printing material like metal materials.
Yeah.
Uh, but I want to jump back to something real quick before it leaves my brain. It's kind of on the same subject, but this is like a conspiracy that I just came up with. What if COVID was caused by the elites to shut down the world so that way the elitists, I'm going to say perverts, didn't have to go to strip clubs for strippers. They basically created COVID so that way they could create an OnlyFans. So girls had to create OnlyFans, which is basically the digital strip club, right? And that's why COVID was implemented. Everything shut down so that way the elitists didn't have to travel because they're too famous. They'll be recognized. They could just sit back, paying a couple of dollars, and watch virtual strip clubs.
Yo, that is a conspiracy theory if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, dude, you you
We
you
gotta.
look at China. There's so many people per area, and I've never been to China, so I don't know. But you start building cities on top of each other. You know, there's only so much room that so many people can go into like one area.
Uh
Uh,
huh.
the digital world is the next world, and the porn industry is what drives a lot of things. The DVDs from VHS, like the porn industry drove all that. So I'm just saying, the porn industry drove us into COVID, which made OnlyFans a reality.
Porn is what made the internet so big.
It is. It really is. Yeah. As soon as
Uh,
the hormones kick in, a whole different world of life is in front of you. And then you get older, and you're like, wow, that was me. Huh.
oh
Yeah.
well. Yeah. Sorry about that. I guess.
Yeah.
um, dude. Um, but talking about AI, there's like I know like we work in the BIM field. I said construction, but we do like the building information modeling. Like we coordinate trades in these large scale construction projects.
Oh, well, we're
Um,
gonna be screwed, dude.
oh yeah,
There's no
it's
need for us.
there's no like no doubt in my mind at some point a computer program you'll just be able to plug in the type of building you want and the kind of features like you want it to have, and a computer program will completely build the building digitally for you. It'll coordinate every trade for you, create all the drawings, send it out, and then that's when the AI truck or AI robots come out and start building the building, putting it all up, and the entire construction industry will be robotic AI, and will be out of luck. Well, maybe
Yeah,
not you and me because we'll be dead by then probably. But
well,
what are they going to do with all these people that need to make money to pay their bills and all this?
that's the next phase of life, I think. Like that's the next generation of like what is the world? What is the meaning of life? How do we deal with people being born? Because we're realistically just slaves, right? You go to work, you make money, you're docile humans because you're just following the path to go get that newest Apple or the Ferrari or just, maybe hit that Disney vacation after 5 years of saving up. We're
Uh-huh.
slaves to even realistically. I mean, there's no way around living without money. Like you can't just go on land and hunt and really just do like 1920s Wild West where like this is my steak, this is what I'm gonna do. You can't do that anymore. You have to function. So the way it's gonna have to go, it's gonna have to go to like a universal some kind of income. But
Hmm.
what that does to money, I don't even know if it's even money at that point. It's like you just get credits. Uh, and then that's where it gets weird because if you're not being controlled by uh, working and having things to do, then, you're kind of free to do everything. I think China that I've heard does like social credit scores or something, and it may not be
Yeah.
China, it may be some other Asian, but uh, at that point, we start evolving into like you have this home, but cool, we can't really do anything, but like if you do anything bad, we have to somehow reprimand you, so you have social credit scores, so you can go out and do
Yeah.
anything because money doesn't right now money equals status for the most part. You
Yeah.
have $1 million, you're gonna hang out with the millionaires easily. You can go anywhere, talk to anybody. You got $1, you could try, but everybody's just gonna look down on you. Like, what do you want? You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's true 99% of the time. So it's weird to say where that's gonna go. Uh, I was listening to something that was talking about gold, and if I were to buy gold today to hold on for 10 years from now for like an investment, or if the world crashes or the monetary thing fails, like I'm I can't come to you and like the world's gone to hell, martial law is out, and we're sitting here trying to survive, and there's a bunch of people robbing stores. I come to you and say, "Hey, dude, I want some banana bread. I'll break you off a piece of this gold bar."
Yeah.
You don't want gold. You want the banana bread. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. Money's weird. Uh, I think we have a weird attachment to it. Uh, I mean, look at the Rothschilds and stuff like that. What is money to them? I don't think it's anything. They just
Yeah.
get whatever they want.
They wake up and wipe their asses with hundreds.
Yeah, I mean that's toilet paper. But AI is going to get there. I think AI. I don't think AI is going to kill us. I don't think that it's going to take over. I think uh, there is good humans in the world that will help develop AI into the correct path. And I even think there's going to be more than one AI. And at some point, they're going to merge or fight off the other, however that manages to do so. Because, if China has an AI and we have an AI, right, and we're developing all this in house, uh,
Uh-huh.
what happens when one becomes the greater one than the other? It's only natural that it's going to have to take over the other one.
Yeah.
So it's weird, and it could change. But I mean, really, it's what's that movie Galaxy?
Galaxy Quest?
I don't think it's Galaxy. It's the other one with the little robot thingy. I think
Wally?
no, it's
The
definitely got
Disney movie?
Galaxy in the name of it. No, it's got Galaxy.
Guardians of the
Guardians of
Galaxy.
the Oh no, older. But basically, is they ask the computer, like, I don't even know what the question is, but they go to the final destination. They ask the all-knowing AI computer, "What is the meaning of life?" What I don't know. The journey, and I
Yeah.
think that's what I've been finding realistic is the journey is realistically the best part in life. Like making goals and getting to them is nice, but you get there and it's like cool, whatever. Journey is where it's at. AI is going to take a lot of that out because when I went to work, I met a bunch of people. It was cool. I learned who to stay away from, who not to stay away from. I learned some really good shit. I learned some really bad shit. And then I go to the next company and I meet some new people, and it's like a whole different way of life. And I learn some new shit, make some new friends, uh, and it's that journey where I meet new people. Without that, like I'm an introvert. I don't
Uh-huh.
get out of the house. What do you do then for fun? Like, hello, people in section A, please gather for a social gathering of at least 30
Yeah.
minutes today.
They're gonna
You're
make
like,
us get together and hang out.
yeah, we'll have like 30-second or 1 minute, 60-second date times. It's like speed dating, but you're just speed friending.
Yeah.
Hello, meet your friend.
Um, that's crazy, man. It's crazy to think about. Like, and it scares me. You know, like it might not be in our time. That's fine. It might not even be in our kids' time. But I don't know. I
Cherry
hope it ain't at
Pepsi.
least. Mm, not sponsored by Pepsi. You gotta. I gotta blur that out now. I'm not getting paid for that. I'm just
Sorry,
kidding.
I'll drink it from this cup. There we
um.
go. No problem.
Um.
It is scary though.
Do you,
It's no doubt because we do basically stuff that could be replaced with AI very soon.
yeah.
ChatGPT, it's scary, and I can tell you it's really scary.
And it's helpful.
It's I don't know how do you go to school now? You know,
Yeah.
you're never gonna have a calculator in your pocket. You need to learn to do this in your head. I don't
Yeah.
learn that way, Miss Garson. I
Yeah.
can't do it.
Yeah.
And then I have a computer in my pocket, let alone a calculator. And
Mm-hmm.
then ChatGPT is just like the icing on the cake. Well, I don't need to take a test. Anything you tell me, I could just ask ChatGPT. It tells me in a second.
Yeah. You got all the world's knowledge at your fingertips right now. But another scary thing about that is you're relying on that information coming from a source that is managed by another human being. So at some point,
It is
if
it well not
if
that's not
nobody,
entirely true. That's not entirely true.
well,
It is
well, you
managed,
see
but
what I'm
it's
saying.
self learning. It's self learning, so it
Well,
grows,
I'm
right?
not talking about Chat GPT. I'm talking like
Oh,
websites and Google and crap like
oh, that's
that.
true.
But
Yeah,
it's like then at that point, if you're solely relying on that to learn stuff, then you're only learning what they want you to learn. You know what I mean?
ooh,
But
man, dude, we can get into history right now with that right there.
but like I
Well,
mean,
they're
at
already
the
doing
same
that
time,
to
I get
us.
it. Yeah, you only see what they want you to see. Like a few, like if this was 2 years ago and we said the word COVID on here, the video might be flagged and not,
That's oh man, I
you
didn't think
know,
about that. You're gonna get flagged so hard because
that's.
I put
I mean,
COVID and OnlyFans in the same conspiracy.
yeah, right. And it's just crazy. It's crazy that, and I understand there's people out there that take advantage of the freedom of speech thing to the 10th degree. You know what I mean? But at some
Yeah,
point, you just got to let it ride because if you're going to take away their rights to say something, it's only a matter of time before they're coming after you and your rights. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's a very good point, and I struggle with that because there's a lot of things that you shouldn't say, and sometimes we do say, but that is the freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, the censor is ridiculous. I understand like an age requirement because there's a maturity level, a growth development, but after a certain age group, like there shouldn't be really a control or a censor. Like this is what we know. This is what we know to be fact. The right hand saying they know what to be fact. You have to make your opinions based on what you believe and what you know and what you put together to see who's telling the truth, really. But if they start censoring stuff, you can't even do that because you don't have all the information.
Yeah.
Uh, Twitter is controversial. It is seems to be free speech, but it's weird how you. It's hard to do free speech, but at the same time be inclusive of the way we are now.
Yeah.
Uh, And I think that's the tough balance because companies are so involved in a lot of these movements that happen, uh, that they're really sensitive on what they say and what they support, and that's
Uh-huh.
good and all. But I mean, you have like 1% of the population really forcing down their throats, like this has to be the way. It's like, what about the other 99% are just going home doing their day job, don't really care about what you support,
Yeah.
just make a good product.
I I don't care and look too much into anything politically, man. I just want to wake up in the morning, go do my job, make my money, come home, hang out with the family, and make this podcast. And hopefully make a ton of money one day. But I don't know. I don't look too much into all that stuff.
What would you
This
do with a ton of money? Let's say podcast becomes success. AI is a little ways off. Let's say you'll make it to 60 before AI starts to take off and take your job.
I want
You,
to future proof. I want to future proof my life and invest in a ton of real estate, rental properties, get that passive income coming in. You know what I mean?
so
That
you want to
way,
own a piece of the earth.
yeah, you got to own something in order to, like, you could work 40 hours a week for 45, 50 years of your life. You could save that 401k and, retire at an age of like 70 for us or whatever. And then,
Like 80 maybe.
yeah, but then what are your kids left with after you die? Yeah, they get what's left over in your 401k, your retirement and stuff. That's all well and good. But then they're just stuck in the same trap as you are. So, but
Yes,
if you have
I feel that
land,
one.
if you have houses, if you have apartments you're renting out, if you have real estate that you're making constant money on, that all gets passed down to your family when you die, and that's generational wealth right there. Like working a 9 to 5, 40 hours a week for your whole life. And that's for a lot of people. I mean, I'm 34 years old, and the last like 2 years I've just started getting to this mentality where I want more. Um, but some people are happy with a 9 to 5. That's cool. I mean, if that's what you like, that's what you like. But I just feel like if you want true generational wealth to pass down to your kids and your kids' kids, you need to own some stuff, mainly real estate. So I don't know. That's what I want to get into. I'm just trying to navigate the waters and figure out how it works. And I don't want to, you know, dive in head first and realize I'm in over my head. Like, oh crap, I should have prepared a little bit more for this. But at
Yeah,
some
I should
point,
have took that free seminar.
yeah, yeah. And I listen to podcasts, I watch YouTube videos, and I try to learn as much as I can. But that's where I want to get to at some point.
I mean, that's a good point. I felt that when you were like, you got to pass stuff on down to your kids or they have nothing. Like I come from family where like we don't have anything to give anything. Everything I have to
Same
do, I
here.
have to work for it.
Same
And
here.
it
Yeah.
and it's that begging question, what do I do and how do I do it? And the weird balance is when you've never had anything and you start making money, there's two ways you can go. One is I never really had anything, so I don't really care about getting anything else. I'm just gonna go to work, do what I do, and live my normal life as I have growing up. Or two, it's like I never had anything. That shiny thing looks great. I want that shiny thing. And then
Yeah.
you got so much. Your data is collected, so they obviously got you by the gonads and selling you everything, and that's really difficult. Uh, but it's constantly like buy me, buy me, buy me, and it's like, well, that's what I want. That's what I want. But in reality, you have to like put all that aside. I'm like, I can live without a new car. I can. The window's broke. Let's put some duct tape on it. It'll be fine. Like all the little things that don't. You might want to replace a window, but uh, it, my parents actually live uh with window units, but for the last maybe 4 or 5 years, they didn't have any AC at all.
Oh, that's crazy. I
And
couldn't
and
imagine my life without AC. I'll tell you that.
right, so you upgrade to conveniences and what are considered basic needs. Is AC a basic need? I would think it is. Uh, but yeah, man, like I'm passing on something to my kids, and maybe I don't get to pass on that lump sum of money where they get to go off and just live off of dividends or income property, but like maybe I can give them a little bit of a bump start or a safety net to fall back on too if they make some mistakes a little earlier in their career, maybe 20 to 30. And I think that's more realistic. But if you don't teach them to do the same thing, it's a repetitive cycle. Now their kids don't have anything, and
Yeah.
even with the internet and its all knowing powers and ChatGPT, I still haven't found the one button that says, "How do I make $1 million in a day?" Click,
Yeah,
and
I know.
I don't get that answer.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Because it's there is no answer. You can't do it. It's not possible unless you hit the lottery, and that is
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
scam in its own right, in my opinion. So I don't know.
Will Neuralink allow time travel?
I don't think time
Probably not.
travel is possible.
No, that's a lie. That's a lie. You saying time travel's not possible?
I don't think it's possible, man.
What about different? What is it? Different versions of us. I forget what that's called.
Like a multiverse?
Yeah.
Is that are you
What's
equating? Are
feasible? I'm just saying, like, if I were to go, like, there has to be some kind of bigger story here. Like, time travel has to exist, I would think, to some degree, to go back in time. Even if you look at the movie Interstellar, or maybe he doesn't travel back in time, but he goes far away and comes back, and time is accelerated, so he's younger based on
so?
traveling that far. And you still
I've
wouldn't travel
heard
back.
I've heard the theory, or I don't even know if it's a theory. I think people really think it's a thing, which I get it. But if you take a spaceship and fly as fast as you can, like, I don't know, maybe as light speed or something, 1 year straight out into space, then turn around, come back, you'll be gone like 2 years then. But that would be equivalent to like 200 years or something on Earth. I've heard
Like
that
a
before.
200 years seems a little afraid because, like, the Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar went to a whole nother planet where, like, every minute was like 7 years or something, and then still made it back to his daughter being like an old lady. So it was like 80 years. But the
I never saw that
concept,
movie.
you never watched Interstellar?
No.
Bro,
It's
I
good.
don't recommend a lot of movies. Uh,
You don't. So that says a lot.
it's it's a long movie, and you kind of need to be, I guess, a little open minded, but it is one of my favorite movies. I mean, up there with Kung Fu Hustle and Zombieland, which are mainly comedies. Uh,
Dude, I
it's
just
great.
I feel like time is a man-made thing to just mark the passage of days and all that stuff. I don't think it's
Uh,
possible to move
well,
back and forth
ti
through
time is
time.
like the fourth dimension, though. So, like, it has its place in mathematics.
I don't
It's a
know.
form of math, and we utilize it to. I'm trying to explain it and think about it at the same time, but
I'm just a damn idiot, dude. I don't know nothing. But
me
I
too.
in my idiot brain, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't think time travel's a thing.
Hmm. Well, that sucks because I really want to go back and see like the dinosaurs. The very first original Jurassic
So
Park made me a fan
going
of
back
just.
to Neil deGrasse Tyson, he brought up something that made this is the part of time travel that made sense to me. You can't time travel back to any point in time that was around before the invention of the time travel machine.
That's true, I guess.
So
Because how could you?
if somebody was to invent a time machine today, then any time in the future, they could come back to that specific time when the time machine was created. And that kind of makes sense to me.
Do you think that's how the technology started evolving super fast? Like, because like literally like 200 years ago is the Wild Wild West or some shit. Like,
Dude,
and
that's
now
oof.
it's like the advancement in technology specifically is exponential at this point. Like, if you really think about it, I went to school without a computer. My child is going to school as a kindergartner with a computer or tablet,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's only give or take 20 years, uh, depending on how quick you get froggy. Uh, and like VR is something that was back in the day with Nintendo. You know, they had these little bulky things, and it was
Yeah.
like, oh, cool, and then everyone anywhere. But now VR is it's not as mainstay as I think I would want it to be. I want it to be like a household name, like PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, like just
Yeah.
one of the elites categories in its own.
Yeah.
But I think it's evolving,
Oh, it's getting
and
there. Yeah.
it's hard to say where that goes. Like, are we going to VR, or is it some other form of digital reality that we just haven't shifted into?
This leads into another conversation. Do you think
We're bouncing a lot.
I know. I know. That's why we need our own podcast. We could dedicate each episode to a different topic or whatever.
Oh, yeah,
But but this is just like, a little sampling of what you get with us right here. So if
right.
millions of people come out and say, "Oh, we loved it. We need more," then we got to do it. But what was my thought? Oh, crap. There we go. Uh it was floating around in the air. I had to grab it and put it back in.
I know not to
Uh
say stuff because I do it all the time.
Uh, do you think we're living in a simulation right now?
Not Pepsi. That is a oh man, that's a
like
big
we
question for me because that's tough.
like
Why
like
wouldn't we
there's
be?
there's tech companies all day right now just trying to figure out ways to get people in headsets and into a virtual world. Who's to say that they haven't achieved that already and this is it? AI did it. What if AI is already a thing that controls the world and just put us humans for some reason, like the Matrix, in a little test tube with
So
just this thing's
the big
playing in our brain.
yeah, the biggest thing that I like to think about is like the snow globe effect, where we're literally just a snow globe on somebody's
Yeah.
table somewhere
Yeah.
else.
Yep.
And then when you put that into perspective, and you put like our galaxy in the snow globe, and they can zoom in and zoom out if they really wanted to. Uh, then you start looking at the molecular, micro, very small things. Like we can look at it with a magnifying glass and see that it looks like a little squiggly line or something. But like,
Uh-huh.
what does that look like even further zoomed in? Like, is there an infinite zoom? And
Yeah.
then you see what? You see atoms, I guess. Well, what is the atom world? I don't know. Like, it feels like a simulation sometimes. Uh, and then I guess the more introverted and stuck at home you are, I would say you get a lot more simulation vibes. But when you actually go out and experience the human beings, the consciousness, the cause and effect, you kind of feel like it's not. You kind of feel like it's a real world situation. But like
Or
if you're
maybe
just
it's just
secluded,
that damn good. Like I feel like it's just a matter of like Elon Musk's Neuralink. Uh they implant it in your head and there's little wires that go to different parts of the brain. I feel like all it is they find the right parts of your brain to touch and shoot little electrical impulses into or whatever, and you smell things, you feel things, you hear things. I feel like it's just a couple little electrodes into the brain and they can simulate anything.
I think we'll get there and maybe answer some of this in the future because understanding the brain is one of the most complex things we haven't done yet.
Uh-huh.
Neuralink may very well be like that's what their ultimate goal is. Like, yes, they're pawning it off to like help people get mobility back because they're paralyzed.
He
They're
yeah,
sending nerves, right?
he's claiming he can help blind people see and stuff, isn't he?
The sight may be tough because you might have to regrow like some kind of, but maybe they could just do an implant and then change. I don't know
Yeah.
because some blindness may be affected by the brain. I don't know how deep level that goes. Uh,
Again, I'm an idiot. I don't know. It's
I
just
don't either.
ideas I'm spitting out.
But I think he walked out. I think it was a pig. He walked out a pig with a Neuralink.
Yeah.
And a saying back in the day, was like, "Well, I'll do that when pigs fly." You know,
Uh,
well, technically, I think they're about to start talking. And if you put a Neuralink on them and attach some wings to them, organic wing, I don't know what kind of pterodactyl wing you can get to fly a pig, but you, oh man, this is some mad science shit. Uh, you get like the largest bald eagle you can get, or something like that, and graft on the wings to the pig that has
uh-huh.
Neuralink. The Neuralink can control the new nerves to the. Oh my god, we could get wings with Neuralink. You're saying that I can get vampire wings because Neuralink will control it, even if my body doesn't have the ability to.
I did
They'll
not say that.
somehow tie in the nerves to the Neuralink, and we can
I did not say
fly.
that. You said it. I didn't say it. You said
Oh
it.
man,
Elon Musk is gonna see this and be like, what the hell are these kids promising these people?"
I'm kind of excited now. One of my when I was a
You're
kid, it
excited
was
off a random idea you just had in your head, thinking
yeah,
it's real.
yeah. When I was a kid, man, like one of those things I really wanted to do was fly. Like you watch the birds, and you're like, fucking mad teenager, I don't want to be here no more. I'll fly away. Fuck the shit. Uh, whatever. I was really young, and maybe 9 or 10. And I was like, oh, it'd be really cool to fly. Kind of the time where you start wanting superpowers.
Yeah.
But what if Neuralink really can expand to that level? I mean, if the brain controls everything in this body, their Neuralink is an add-on to further control and stimulate the senses. If
Yeah,
we
they say
just add,
we only use like 10% of our brain.
yeah, I mean, you guys might. I only use about 1%.
what if what if Neuralink opens that up and you use different parts of your brain and crap? How crazy would that be?
So, do you know a person with ADHD? Do you
Yeah,
have
my wife.
ADHD? Okay.
My wife
Uh,
says I do, but I don't know.
do you have ADHD?
I've never been
I don't.
diagnosed with it.
Okay. I don't think what you. I may have some form of an extreme ADHD case would be one of our coworkers. I won't leave
Yeah.
unnamed.
Yeah.
Uh, that's to me, that's a full 10%. But the problem is, a lot of times you won't be able to control it, and that's kind of what happens to a lot of ADHD. Is there's just so much output that you can't control it sometimes. And that's where the
Yeah.
frustration builds with a lot of those people. I don't have ADHD, and I mean, if you do, great. If you don't, great. I mean, everybody to each their own. I really enjoy the different aspects of people and who they are, and how they think. Uh, but I imagine ADHD as 10% because their memory capacity is off the charts. Oh, I would love to have that memory capacity. Their intelligence is most of the time off the charts. Their social game may or may not be good. So they may be down in some of the other areas. But if you take that to 100%, how would we comprehend that? I mean, you're just getting blasted with information all the time.
Dude,
How do
I
you
know.
turn it off? And does that open the fourth dimension then? Because you know everything all at once. Do you get like telekinesis? Because now you can control the waves of space. Come here. I think it's get
Y-
over here. That's a Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, like they talk about people that eat mushrooms and everything and start tripping on acid or whatever. They go on these uh trips with mushrooms and they say it's like they feel like they're in another dimension or something. Like, what if that is another dimension? We just can't access it with our current state of the brain. But with that Neuralink, what if it opens a
That
bunch
begs
of
a good
doors?
that begs another good question. Yeah, like if you're on mushrooms or acid, you do see things in a different way and experience things in a different way. How hard is it to unlock with Neuralink, right? It sounds like Neuralink, whatever you want to call it, Neuralink. Then you can call it Nora for short and kind of be like a nice name.
Huh,
Uh, like welcome, come get your Nora today. Sounds better than Neuralink.
that's
Uh,
true. Yeah, it does look better. It does sound better.
Yeah, it does look better. Who are you thinking about right now? She
Uh,
named Nora.
no, does sound better. I told you, I'm an idiot. I don't know. I just say things.
But what is that? Because then if we had the possibility to open that spatial awareness, I guess is what we'll call it from now, at any given time with Neuralink, then we could begin to study that and make hypothesis, gather data, and just realistically give that a defining realm, maybe? Like, hey, step into the mushroom realm. Oh, you
Yeah,
don't want to go
yeah.
to the mushroom?
We'll be
And
living in the Super Mario land,
that would be cool.
the Mushroom Kingdom.
Only because it's kiddie enough to be cool. Like, you don't really, not really worried about some 11, 16-legged spider with 18 eyes coming after you, and you're just a little
Dude,
guy in the
I don't want
grass.
any spiders whatsoever in any of my alternate realities or whatever.
That's
Don't
what
want it.
scares me
Don't care.
about acid and mushrooms. Like, you go through good day. They say don't do things on bad days, and you know when you wake up and you're like, today is going to be a good day.
Yeah.
A prime example is that, like, when I have to work and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm like angry, complacent, uh, don't really want to do it, and making every excuse in the book. It'll be like a Saturday. I'll get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, like I can't go back to sleep. I'm wide awake,
Yeah.
and like I'm kind of excited, but I'm like, why can't I go back to sleep? Like, whatever.
If I have a day like that, I kind of enjoy it knowing I don't have to go to work. Because for the most part, I'm a morning person and I enjoy waking up early and getting a start to the day. But if I got to go to work, I'm like, damn it, this sucks. I don't want to go to work. But if it happens on the weekend, then I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go down, watch some TV, make a little breakfast, hang out with the kid a little bit, hang out. It'll be great.
Do you think that's what circling back to no money free life would be like if we kind of had like AI take over? That feeling you get every Saturday would be every day
If
because
if
AI
it
is making the content that we watch, the games that we play. There is no
Yeah,
human need at that point. We are just
yeah.
taker
Humans are
inners.
nothing at that point. Like at that point, if it's acceptable to just, you know, do whatever and not have to provide anything meaningful to society, then I don't know. It's crazy to think about. I could sit here right now and say, "Oh, I would love it," but after 6 months, 6 months of not doing anything, does your self worth go down? I don't know because you're not
Hmm.
providing anything.
This we can bridge this with Neuralink because that's a good point. After 6 months of eating pizza, you kind of get tired of eating pizza.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
it's like,
You feel
look,
like you got to create something, right?
yeah. So if AI were to take over, and like you just said, humans are kind of useless, which means they might as well kill us because they have no need for us anymore. But we're the ones with the needs at that point, so we create them to feed us. What do they get in return? I don't know. But at that point, it's just now you're all at home because there's no need to have a house at that point. AI is taking over. Why would you have a house? If you
Well, so you don't
procreate
get
and have
rained
a
on.
well, you have a pod,
Nah,
right? And then your pod is just connected to the internet, and you're all just avatars in an unlimited, unbreakable, vastly insane, whatever you want space. That's where you meet your wife. That's where you meet everybody else.
no.
And when you want to have a baby with your wife, you could either have an in avatar baby, or what they could do is, like, I don't think you can have babies with DNA. I would say they would take some DNA from you and the other wife or person, whatever it may be, mix the DNA and have a creation. And then now they have a live, you assume, because you're always in the pod, that a baby is made.
Hmm.
And then they're just up, well, who would take care of it? Because you can't just upload a baby onto the server.
Dude, I I can't even wrap my brain about wrap my brain around what you're talking about right now. But I'll tell you this: I think it'll be sick as hell to live on a big ass space station. You said
Yeah.
pod, and it jogged my thought process into living on a space station. But they'd have to simulate gravity. I
Well,
wouldn't want to be
yeah, of
floating
course.
around.
People are decisive. Like if you're a Star Wars fan and a Star Trek fan, but one thing I think Star Trek gets right over Star Wars. Star Wars is definitely more fantasy. Star Trek seems to be a little bit more grounded in what we could actually reasonably accomplish. There is no force, obviously, and you do
Hey,
have your
don't
other
say
races.
that.
I'm
Don't
just
say
saying.
that,
I'm
dude.
I'm
Dude,
I'm just
that's
saying.
enough, dude. I'm not even talking to you anymore.
In the podcast now, but it really gives a good sense of like being in space, being on a ship. How would a crew interact? What is the drama that happens if you do explore a planet and meet alien life? How that may happen. Beam me up, Scotty. You actually are turned into photons, transported, and then photoned back together. I don't know,
Yeah.
but like I would love to be, whether it be a space station, which is Interstellar. They actually have a really cool one. And it shows you how they do gravity, which is pretty cool. Or Star Trek, where you're in like a ship which goes to different uh, bases. Like, I don't know, what do you do? Then it would basically just be like cities and you driving a car to your neighbor's house, except for it's a space station in the middle of space, right?
Dude.
Like, hey, I'm going to Stella's New York City,
Put
and
on a
then you
little
just get into
spacesuit
this.
with a little jetpack thing and just doot, 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 and just like coast over there.
Yeah, I would assume there might be an oxygen bubble of some kind where you wouldn't even have to have a spacesuit.
Damn, dude. Ryno, this is an hour, man. I try to keep the pods at an hour, son.
You should have
That
ended
way.
it on the last note.
Yeah. No, stop it. I'm not talking to you anymore.
Click.
Oh, that'd be great. And then just create that one little snippet as a short, put it up on YouTube, see if it goes viral. Oh, some psycho flips out because somebody says there's no such thing as the Force in Star Wars.
Hey, I gave you your good stuff. I put OnlyFans Conspiracy and COVID in the same
Dude, I
sentence.
know. You're a goat, dude.
I wanted to at least get a game in before it was time to go because this is more gaming related, and I haven't done that in a while
I know.
because I've been too busy. Uh, but some of the games that I'm kind of excited for is one a new Last of Us, because it's just really good story written there.
Like part 3?
Yeah,
Have they confirmed that that is like
come
locked
on,
and loaded?
Naughty Dog's making so much money off that series. You know they've got to
Dude, I
keep
know.
going.
Yeah, that's
Ellie's
true.
got to be a grandma with like I need to grow up with Ellie at this point. Like
Yeah,
I
that's
need that
true.
story to keep going.
That's true.
And then Final Fantasy VII Remake, I think, is the closest one that I know I'll be buying no matter what. When I'll be playing it, I have no idea.
October 20th, Luke. You will not hear from me. You will not see me for at least 12 hours while I play this game.
What is coming out on October 20th? That's really quickly. Like that's right around the corner.
Spider-Man 2.
Oh, I forgot about Spider-Man. Wow, that's coming out
And
in 3 weeks,
yes,
4 weeks,
Luke,
whatever.
yes. We're in the time of Spider-Man 2.
What? That's another goat.
That's coming
That's
out.
goat.
Can't wait for that. And I'm also pretty excited about the new Super Mario Brothers Wonder that's coming out the same day as Spider-Man 2. So I'll be getting both of those day one.
That's tough. That's $140. I'm gonna cry because
Just
they're both
give it to
70, probably.
me. Give it to me, daddy. I want them
Yeah.
both.
Fall Damage Central, please pick this up. Someone do a Patreon
Yes.
so we can do a review.
Oh,
My main
I
man,
hope one day I get big enough where
Bildo.
I can start a Patreon. That'd be cool as shit. But yo, yes, I appreciate everybody listening. If you made it this far, you're the GOAT. Like and subscribe down below. If you're on Apple, if you're on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, go on over to YouTube, like and subscribe. Watch us there. If you're on YouTube watching this, go over to those platforms and watch and like and subscribe over there and do all that stuff and rate the podcast, and I'll appreciate you forever. Ryno, thank you for filling in. I appreciate you. You're always a goat. And I hope one day we could do our own podcast. This was super fun. And guys, next week, Old School will be back. I know you guys are jonesing for some old school legend, knowledge dropping, mic dropping that he normally does. And we'll see y'all next week. See ya.
Thanks, fellas.